Sup flappers, welcome, welcome. Yae Miko. So let's talk about this character. I'm sure you guys heard so many things about her, good, bad. I'm here to tell you my honest thoughts about her. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna like cater to certain communities. I don't want to piss people off, but if the things I say do offend you in a way, remember, just think of them as my opinion. When at any point in this video you think I've had enough, Alt W. Very sweet shortcut. Don't try it now. Maybe open a new tab and then go to that tab, press Alt W. Thank me later. All right. So I'm going to give you my unfiltered opinion. I've been playing her for like 7-8 hours now, trying my best to see how she functions. And I came to a couple conclusions. So let's start with her overall kit and utility. Like what does she do? What does this character do? Yae Miko, I think, I speak for many people, she's not something that most people should be looking to pull. She's definitely not your Kazuha. She is not your Ayaka. She is not your, Bennett, Shinchu type character. If you are looking for a new 5-star that can slot into 20 different teams with all sorts of variants, play styles, she's not your character. All right, she is by no means fantastic, and the word I would use to describe her is satisfactory, and even that to some people is a reach, and I'll explain why. It's because Yae Miko feels, the way she plays feels like an upgraded version of many 4-star characters, and I'm talking both utility and damage in some cases. So when it comes to what she does, is she's a support DPS. All right, this character is meant to stay off field and only comes on the field to reset her DPS options and then go off field again. So think of Albedo, think of Fischl, kind of like that. However, the biggest problem that people are having with Yae Miko is not about the bugs. It's not like with all the bugs and the external factors, like just within her kit, she takes a while to set up her damage. So if you think Albedo, he comes on, drops E, maybe uses burst, he's gone. That maybe if you include the burst skill, probably 4 seconds, right? Yae Miko takes 4 seconds just to finish dashing around and leaving her elemental skill. And on top of that, if you want to use her burst skill, that's another 3 seconds or so. She's taking around like 6 to 8 seconds of field time when most support DPS in her role deals a decent amount of damage, and their skills allow them to stay off field longer, right? Like Albedo's elemental skill, how long does it last? Top of my head, what, 30 seconds? Let's just fact check me real quick, all right? Let's just fact check me real quick. Do I got this right? 30 seconds. Hey, you see, your boy knows his numbers. You can ask chat. I didn't. By the way, I stream Wednesday, Saturday, 7. Yeah, 30 seconds. And what about Yae Miko? How long does her elemental skills last on the field? Half of that. Not even half. 14 seconds. You think, wow, 14 seconds, not bad, right? Well, that's actually really fast, to be honest with you guys. Most character infusion windows are around this time. If you're taking account into these characters' infusion windows and their burst skill, it's like barely enough time for Yae Miko's skill to disappear. And remember, if you use her burst skill, it does use up the charges, but it does allow you to reset. What I'm saying is this character is running too tight when it comes to other main DPS's damage window. Oftentimes you're in the middle of your DPS and you're like, oh damn, I have to switch to Yae Miko to reset the field. And even when you do all that, all right, people, listen, when you do all that, you put in that effort and the time, you weave her into your DPS window to reset her on-field damage. There's another issue that we run into is her squishiness makes her incredibly vulnerable to lethal hits. Now you guys be like saying like, oh, well, just get good, understand the mechanics, right? But sometimes the game doesn't allow you to bypass certain things. Just I guess if you're really good enough, you can fully time your main DPS damage windows and your Yae Miko setup windows to have them never overlap with enemy threat. I hope that made sense. But it's just not going to happen. For most people, it's not going to happen. You're going to run into a situation where, like, damn, I'm either going to have to miss out on Yae Miko's damage and continue with my main DPS to dodge his lethal attack and then wait until afterwards to reset my damage, or I'm going to take a huge risk, switch to Yae Miko, do my three little totems here, and risk getting one shot by the boss. You guys aren't going to tell me you're sitting here watching this video that you're going to be able to calculate every damage window along with Yae Miko's window to bypass or to avoid the boss's, you know, lethal hits. You can't. Like, we're all going to be like legendary MLG speedrunners at that point. That's a risk. That's the risk associated with having Yae in your party without a shielder. But with someone like Zhongli, as you see in my team, I tried her with Kazuha. Yeah, damage-wise, it's higher. But when it comes to survivability, you're really going to have to know exactly what you're doing. And with Yae Miko, it's just very difficult, especially with her burst skill taking so much energy as well. 90 cost burst, even with Raiden Shogun, double Electro, she is struggling to keep up, right? It's so many things added together that makes this character just feel so incomplete. Is that a good way to put it? I think incomplete, satisfactory, these are very like mid terms that we're slapping onto this character. But here is probably why. Okay, first and foremost, she doesn't have her own artifact set. This character, she essentially is incomplete comparative to a lot of the older characters that have been released in Inazuma. She is one of the ones that don't have anything to essentially fulfill her kit. Somebody in chat said earlier she kind of feels like an Electro Albedo. I feel like she's stuck between like an Electro version of Albedo and Zhao, right? Like, Zhao is this superb character that is suffering a little bit, like he's starting to fall off a little bit, not only because Mihoyo is targeting him in Abyss, but as well as the lack of a dedicated artifact set to really push his ceiling higher. I think Yae Miko has a huge ceiling. There's risk involved with their playstyle, but for the most part, the risk doesn't translate very well into reward. When we say higher the risk should be better reward, for Yae Miko, there's a relatively high risk. The reward is good, but it isn't usually worth the risk. So what is my verdict? After all this, for free-to-play players, what is the verdict here? I think you guys, as free-to-plays, you can do better. All right, Yae Miko is not going to be a character, I think, in the near future. She's not going to be a character that can add a lot to your playstyle, to your kits, to your utilities, to your damage, to your team variations. Doesn't really do any of that. There are 4 stars that currently do her job. Of course, not as well. The damage is not as high, but do you really need that extra damage, really? If you're telling me your official can't do it, but if you have Yae Miko, you can clear a certain type of content, let me tell you right now, try working on your main DPS. Try working on your supports. If you're telling me the difference between you clearing content and failing is the difference between your official's damage and your Yae Miko's damage, I'm telling you, trust me, you're missing out on a huge chunk of potential elsewhere in your team. That's the reality with Yae Miko. Am I being too harsh? I don't think so. I think a lot of people can agree with me with the sentiment that this character feels like it's designed for maybe like spenders, whales, please the whales, right? Or designed for people who just love her beauty, her personality. Are you going to pay for her personality? Are you going to pay for love? Or are you going to pay for power? This is the question you always have to answer. Let me tell you something. If you sat through this entire video all the way until this point and you're still watching, chances are you're paying for power. All right, you're waiting for me to say something that allows you to go out and spend an exorbitant amount of primo gems on a character that isn't worth. And I'm not going to say it. All right, I'm not going to say it. I think most people, if you want a good Electro character, wait for Raiden Shogun. Raiden at C0 does more than Yae. Damn. I never thought I'd say that. I'm not a huge fan of Raiden C0, trust me. She's a good character, but I'm not a big fan. But I think if you're looking for a good Electro unit, Raiden is better than Yae at C0. And at C2, Raiden is still better. C1, Yae does get a bit better. I'd say C1 Yae is very close to, because it deals with a lot of her energy regen issues, which allows her to cycle through her skills much faster, much more efficiently, and she can use her burst more often as an iframe during her on-field time, which reduces her risk of getting one-shot. All right? That's the honest truth. That's how I feel about her, and I poured in a lot of resources to this character. Am I regretting my decision pulling her? No, I think she's cute, she's lovely, and I'm gonna continue playing her, trying to test her and provide you guys more information about maybe some hidden truth about this unit. Okay, with that said, thank you guys so much. Join us in my live streams in the future. We'd love to have you guys here. Yeah, forgive me for being too harsh on Yae Miko. If you think anything that I said was, you know, complete BS, completely unfounded, please comment below. I would love to engage in conversations with you guys and just work things out. All right, is this a hot take? I don't think so. With that said, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Till then, stay safe. Peace. Bye bye.